Hey guys, it's Barry and DR, and we're back with another family here. Probably a family that has more experience than any of the other families that we've interviewed. They've been in the country, I believe, about 4 years now. Three. And they've lived in how many different regions of the Dominican Republic, guys? Five different regions. So I'm going to introduce our friends to you, the Sean and Kelly gang, and I'm going to let each one of them tell a little bit of their story to all you viewers out there, and to let them, from their point of view, all the experiences that the DR has brought forth to them. And you guys, you want to take over here? And Sean, why don't you tell us, about how it's been over the years, the different places you've lived, and the experiences you've gained, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that good stuff, and introduce the children.
Well, first, this is Micah. Micah will be 12 soon. This is Jonah.
Hello.
Jonah will be 9 soon also. We've lived, Cabrera is by far one of the best towns that we've lived in. It was a pretty hard struggle there for a while to adapt to some of the other towns we've been in, but we're pretty happy to be here now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What has it been like in terms of, you guys basically packed up everything from the States, right?
We sold everything.
Yeah, sold, and what inspired you to just make that kind of commitment? And you know, you have 2 kids, you have two children, and take off 3-4 years, younger children at that time. That's a serious change, guys. I mean, I know you're I've known you. I mean, I've known you guys for a while, and I know you're adaptable. But come on, that's a serious change. What, especially Tennessee to Dominican Republic. I mean, it's quite a change. What made you want to do it?
I think the main thing that got us thinking of a Spanish country to begin with was my dad being Colombian. We knew we wanted to be in a Spanish-speaking country, but where it started, of course, was in missions. It was missions that drew us to the country, and like you said, we've lived in several places. We've kind of been trying to put our feelers out, get an idea of where we wanted to work, somewhere that we've lived on the border, and we've lived pretty much everywhere in between on the northern area, and in Cabrera is great, but there's some areas in the country that are more mud huttish. And as we came this way, it kind of had the feel for what we needed as Americans, being in a foreign country. And there's a few things I like Cracker Barrel cheese, and I can get that here. And Zero candy bars, I can get that here.
Okay. The necessities of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were a few things that we knew that we'd really like to have, and we were able to get that in Cabrera because you've got enough of a foreign base that you can get those kind of things, and yet we still have the poverty and some of the things that we minister to in our work. That are surrounding us, as you can see too, in the outer areas, in the campus, in the countryside. So it makes it a little bit easier for us. And of course, we'll probably talk about it in a little bit. But we wanted a place for these kids to go to school as well, and we never had that in any of the other towns that we lived in.
I got you.
Yes, we have.
But they were Spanish; they weren't English.
Sean,
right.
why don't you tell us from a mom's point of view what it was like, though?
Well, in the beginning, it was really tough because we moved to the border. We were living in a border town.
What town was that?
That was in Dajabon.
Okay.
And so that was really hard. I think it was hard on all of us because we went from being Americans to being thrown into a culture that it's really harsh. It's really harsh over there.
Like, this is real small town, right? This is real backwoods, your first town that you're talking about.
It's a large city, but it's a border city, and so it's not very well maintained.
Military,
Okay,
there's a real
military.
strong military force,
Okay,
and
okay.
there's still a lot of strife between the Haitians and the Dominicans there. And so that was kind of rough. And then we
But
moved.
what made you pick that town, though? Obviously, you would have done some research before just
We were coming to work with the deaf at that time.
with the deaf.
Deaf,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Well, and I need some help there, too. So, yeah.
So anyway, so we ended up moving on to another town to actually start a deaf school.
Uh-huh.
And when we went there, it was still kind of hard. You know, we could go without electricity for 3 days, without water for a week, and lots of things like that. We couldn't even get sliced bread in that town. We had to go 30 minutes
no
away.
hamburger
And
meat.
No ground beef. No.
well, there was some green stuff before in the freezers, but
No ATM. There's just no way to get money. Very difficult to just maintain a little bit of an American lifestyle that we need.
And from there, after that experience, right? You weren't doing the missionary work there yet, were you?
Yeah.
You were actually doing it there. And then, so how long were you in the first town? I want to kind of give the viewers a history of how your family, how y'all got here. And I really want to give them a history because you guys are an excellent resource for people that, if you give us permission, we'll hand out an email, if people want to ask you questions and get in touch. Because we also want to help the missionary too, okay? And it's all about helping each other. So we're going to put in, we're going to get that plugged on the video and everything as well. But how long were you in the first town?
But between the first two towns, we were less than a year, like 9 months probably between the first two towns.
a little bit more than that. We were in
10 months?
Dajabon for 2 months, and that's where it was really, really tough. But we found a need to start a deaf school in another town, so we went ahead and moved on.
Okay.
That's the reason why we were there for such a short period of time. And then we went to Manzanillo.
Was that the third?
No, this was the second.
The second.
Manzanillo was the second
Okay.
town.
Okay.
And we started a deaf school there. And we lived there until I'd gotten really sick. So we needed a little bit of a break. So we took like a small sabbatical for about 2 or 3 months, I think. And
Where did you go then?
we went to Puerto Plata.
You went to the larger city of Puerto Plata. A lot more conveniences there. and
Everything.
You just needed, yeah.
We needed 24-hour electricity and water and
Yes.
just to be
yes.
able to take a
No, I
couple
understand
months.
because for everybody, it's within a certain zone. When I was traveling, the extent I was, you do until you get used to it. It's a tough challenge for sure.
Well, the main thing was getting her well. Long story short, there was rock ash in that town. What do you call it? Rock ash?
Rock and fly ash that was
Fly
dumped
ash
from
that's the whole other story. Don't even need it on the video necessarily.
Puerto
But
Rico.
the main thing with Puerto Plata was that we got her well and feeling good, and so we were there for a few months. And
Did you rent a place?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was kind of a couple of the things we wanted. We wanted a house that was cool and electricity 24 hours. So we got that, and then we moved on to Altamira, which was ministry again. And we worked with a lot of kids most of the time just in the park, and used the Glorieta for dodgeball and things like that.
Sure.
We picked up with an organization called Christ-Centered Champions, and they began to help us carry the load as far as work. Once they knew we were working with kids and things and doing ministry, they're all about that and using sports to do it. And so that helped quite a bit. And we were there for a year, and but we hadn't really felt like this is the town. This is where we're at, and where we need to stay long.
Kind of getting a little better, but not there yet.
Definitely.
Kind of thing.
It gave us hope.
You had hamburger?
Yeah, we had hamburger.
Okay, so okay.
But no pizza.
Okay. We got good pizza though.
So we started looking, and we looked so far away that it was 3 hours to get to here, and so it got to where we'd have to come and go and stay in a hotel while we were here, and we never found Cabrera quite yet. We actually wound up in Rio San Juan.
Okay.
And so I found a house, and I talked to the guy and made a deal, and I went back to Altamira, and so we're in the packing mode, and we had everything packed. The deal was worked out, and 3 days before we were supposed to move to that town, which our house was located right beside a baseball field where I knew we were going to be working, and 3 days before we moved, the guy calls and says we've rented that house to somebody else who wants to buy it. So
I'm like,
now,
no, I have boxes packed.
Yeah.
I have to move.
and so
Just got
there was
scared.
really nothing we could do except for get over it. And so we got in touch with a couple of people here who you probably may have interviewed. Adrian Head, is he been on the show before?
Go Cabrera.
Go Cabrera.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, we got in touch with a couple of people here in town, and finally got down to this town and started looking around. We found a house, and so that's how we wound up here.
And that was the first house?
Yes.
And now you just recently upgraded, and because you needed more room for the ministry, right?
Definitely,
And the
definitely.
people coming down to visit you and things like
Right.
that.